Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A.I.W, the Artificial Intelligence Wrestling Show, where the insight is deep thanks to a little help from a digital friend. The following podcast is a triple threat match scheduled for however many hours. Introducing first, from Mount Olympus, the honorary Zeus! Next, from the cave at the end of time, Kronus the Bear! And their opponent, from the internet, A.I.W!
Hello and welcome back to A.I.W. I'm back, Cronus. We're back.
Hey, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, been on holiday to the magical world of Disneyland in Paris.
Nice sweltering France.
Yeah, it was very hot. There's a lot of walking, but it was amazing. I loved it. It was just as magical as I thought it would be. But
Imagine
yeah,
if
very
they'd
hot.
bought WWE.
Yeah,
Different a trip.
I literally I must have mentioned that to my partner like 8 times. Like, oh, imagine the WWE roller coasters they'd have here. And I know Disney's like primarily aimed towards children and stuff, but obviously it's been around so long. A lot of those children are now adults.
Yeah.
And I like Disney because what I think Disney does well is simple stories told very well, and they've always produced like great music and stuff.
Well, they own all of Marvel now, so I guess I like Disney.
Yeah, and Star Wars, but we don't talk about that much.
Yeah.
Let us know your favorite Disney movie in the comments. Disney song, Disney comments, Disney characters.
But I digress.
I digress. Yeah, imagine people going on to this video saying, "Oh, a wrestling recap," and then just seeing the comments filled with like Little Mermaid. Be a bit jarring for the casual viewer. But anyway, enough about Disney. I'm back. I'm very tired. I'm also quite sick. I picked up something. It's not as much in my throat as it was. It's more in the nasal cavity in my head, but we're going to power through. So if you do hear me dying in the background, please forgive me on this one occasion. So I'm the honorary Zeus. I'm joined by Kronus the Bear as always.
Yep.
Hope you haven't missed us too much. I know we've got our diehard fans like Eric Bischoff and Bully Ray have been waiting for us to return. So what we're going to do in this episode is the next couple of episodes, we're going to basically trial some shorter videos, we hope. We're already a couple of minutes into this one. This one is just going to be kind of like a one-off recap of the last couple of weeks, just the key points that have happened on Raw, Dynamite, and we're kind of toying with SmackDown because really not a lot's happened on SmackDown in the last couple of weeks.
More or less the same thing as.
Yeah. If I told you that the Bloodline stood tall and put someone through a table, that's your SmackDown recap covered for the last 2 weeks.
Very much. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, leave it at that. Great stuff. So I think we are going to start back on, is it the 8th of July, Monday Night Raw?
Yeah.
So
Long time ago.
Yeah, well, it feels like forever ago, almost 3 weeks ago. No, 2 weeks ago. So the main thing that I remember from that episode was obviously the return of Rhea Ripley at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I know it was heavily rumored on social media because that's what social media does. And she's back, and it's great to have her back. I thought she would be out longer. I don't think she's physically cleared to wrestle yet. But from a storyline perspective, it's good to have her back and, Liv and Dom shit their pants.
Yeah, it's the right time. Really.
Yeah. So yeah, Rhea's back, and obviously that followed into the week after. I didn't watch any of the full shows last week for obvious reasons. I only saw bits and bobs. But going back to the 8th, what else did we have on that Raw that's worth noting? We know we had another a Bo Dallas interview. It's like another Bo Dallas one, wasn't it? From Uncle Howdy. It was quite sinister.
Have a look. Yeah, Bo looking angry. He was asked more about his family. Said he took those no one wanted, discarded, forgotten, and gave them purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely came across as more sinister, didn't it?
Yeah, it's slowly ramping up. There's a flash of Rowan without the mask, which lends further credence to, thank goodness, they're probably not going to be wrestling in the masks.
Yes, definitely something that I took from that as well. And then that was the episode where we also got straight after that VHS tape, we had Chad Gable running to Adam Pearce saying, "Look, they're coming after me." And Pearce is like, "Yeah, shut up, whatever." And then he opens his office and Bo Dallas is like sat there in the office.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that's the biggest thing that's happened so far, apart from last week, which we'll talk about in a sec.
Yeah, we'll get to
that. But I think the fact that we saw Bo Dallas in the flesh as Bo on screen in the arena was a massive step.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the correct step as well. Because I think you and me talked about this in our very first episode. Go check it out, where we did a deep dive of sorts into the Wyatt Six. And I think one of the things that we wanted to happen was for the Wyatt Six to be humanized as much as possible after the initial kill everyone in the masks kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we got. So I was very happy with that. Nothing else happened on the show regarding the Wyatt Six, if I remember correctly. Man, it's so hard doing a recap 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Got some catching up to do.
Yeah. I should have made notes, really, but I've just been feeling sorry for myself the last few days. In terms of the other big stories that are happening on Raw, obviously we have Drew and Punk. And did anything happen in the 8th of July episode regarding Drew and Punk?
Started with a Punk promo because I think
Yes.
Drew was suspended the week before. So he comes out, thanks Cena, all of that. But then
Cheers,
calls
Cena.
out Pierce. Thank you, Cena. He calls out Pierce to lift the suspension on Drew, but Rollins comes out. They have a little tete-a-tete. Punk does apologise, but Seth still wants to take things from him, saying there's consequences to his actions. But I think that was about it.
Yeah.
There was no actual. I mean, he did lift. Later on. Pierce confirmed it. I think that he'd lift it for 1 week.
He said he'd invite Drew to Raw next week to have a discussion.
And that went well.
But Punk wasn't allowed to be there.
Yeah,
that's
it.
And then in terms of the rest of Monday Night Raw, obviously we had about 11 Judgment Day segments, as we do seem to have recently, which I guess hasn't really changed from the Judgment Day's inception.
I mean, they have been pretty funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember which Raw it was on, but when Liv is stretching out Dom on the sofa and they poke their heads around the corner.
Yeah, they just kind of appear, don't they?
Yeah, that popped me.
Yeah, that was funny. I do. I mean, I know that I prefer the Judgment Day being on TV a lot when they're kind of entertaining, rather than just opening every Monday Night Raw saying, "We run Monday Night Raw." Oh God, we get it.
I get it. Yeah,
it's the meme, isn't it, of everyone being interrupted by the Judgment Day's music. And as much as Other Side by Alter Bridge is a banger, I love that song. It did get a bit like before we had Punk and the draft and stuff. It was just all Judgment Day forever and ever and ever. But
I mean, they're good, but yeah, that's what you mean.
Yeah, I guess too much of anything's bad for you, isn't it? And I think we're probably heading towards the end of Judgment Day at SummerSlam, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, when we come to the next Raw, I'll sort of say what I think there.
Yeah. So let's park that Monday Night Raw for now, and we'll move on to A.I.W. Dynamite, which was the 10th of July.
Yes.
And I did watch this episode, and it was a very good episode again.
Yeah.
I think they're on a bit of a roll at the moment. I know last week's was it felt like a weird episode last week. It was very polarizing because you had the MJF Osprey match, and then nothing else mattered after that. Or so it felt because of how engaging that match was. But
Yeah. It's heavy.
but the prior week we had the combination of the Owen Hart Cup finals. I think we started with MJF, didn't we?
Yeah. It's Osprey MJF little promo battle.
Yeah, that was it. And I think they're building. Well, I know we've had the match already, but I assume we're going to get another one. I think they've been building that quite nicely.
Yeah.
I think
Rematch for the was it the internet? I can never remember international. Or
international title.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that title actually have some meaning. As much as I like Orange Cassidy, I think him just kind of defending it every week, open challenges, opening Dynamite got really tiresome for a long time.
There were some great matches, but yeah,
just didn't really have
extremely.
any kind of like engaging like heat to anything.
There's no actual story.
Yeah. I think now we're getting ahead of ourselves, but now I think it's in a really good place. And then we kicked off match-wise with Danielson versus Mr. Hangman.
Yes.
Great match. Yep, fantastic match. I was kind of disappointed in the result, I will be honest.
Yeah.
But as much as I wanted Adam Page to win, because I think Swerve and Hangman on the biggest stage would have been great because of the history. But the fact that after the match, it led to Adam Page kind of going back to the Elite saying, I'll do it. I'll join you, because he's so desperate to get to Swerve. He can't now because he lost the Owen.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch. And they can always do Swerve and Hangman All Out, which will be like, the following day or whatever, however close it is to All In.
Yeah, they've got plenty of time to play all of that out.
Yeah. Who do you think wins, Danielson or Swerve at All In?
Tough to call.
I'm going to go with Swerve.
Yeah, I think so as well, because I think Brian said at some point he doesn't feel like he needs a title.
No.
On this run of his.
No, I don't think anybody would. I don't think anybody in their right mind, which I know is not a lot of people these days. I don't think any sane wrestling fan would hold anything against Danielson if he didn't win the world title in AEW.
No,
it's not something I'd tar him with personally.
I mean, if he's just gonna spend this last bit of this last year putting over people like Swerve and just having banger matches, that'll do for me.
Yeah, I mean, because you look at WrestleMania 30, like that was Danielson's biggest moment of his career, wasn't it? And that was his absolute mile high wrestling feeling. And like you said, I mean, he hasn't won a title since he's been in AEW for 3 years now.
Yeah.
All Out 21, wasn't it? He appeared.
I think so.
So yeah, I mean, if he hasn't won a title in that time, the chances are it just doesn't really bother him. It's not his priority.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really do anything for him or the title at this point.
No, he's got nothing to prove, has he? He'll go down as one of the best of all time when he probably retires maybe next year, the end of this year.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think Swerve wins, because then that will set up Swerve and Hangman, which we haven't had for the title ever. All Out, and it's just an easy win, isn't it? Booking wise, it's just a main event ready and done. You don't need to build it too much because it's already there. It's a quick win, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was a great match. And then the other Owen Hart Cup match, Mariah May against Willow Nightingale. Now,
another quality match.
A good match, yeah, very good match. I think Mariah May has come leaps and bounds in the ring. I still think she probably needs to work on her promos and delivery, but we'll talk about that in the next Dynamite episode, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the match was really good. I was praying Mariah May won, because it would have been a huge mistake if they didn't do that. And they did, and she won, and I was happy, and her and Tony are all happy, and I don't know why Tony's happy because she's going to face her all in. And then I thought to myself, right, when do they do the heel turn? And as I was thinking that, they'd already done it. It just happened. I was like, oh, they're going to do it now. Okay. I thought this was the best women's segment in AEW history.
It was really, really like brutal.
It was jarring.
Word, yeah.
It was genuinely jarring. I thought, I just something about the way Mariah May just walked up to the belt, grabbed it, and instantly hit Toni Storm.
Yeah.
And it was just that thing of Tony is walking up the ramp with her, and they're both kind of frolicking. But Mariah May is obviously frolicking for a different reason because she knows what she's about to do. And I thought the way they did it was amazing. Poor Luther as well.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Table bump off the stage.
Yeah. So she hits her with the belt, and then she just slaps her with it on the floor. And then, the shoe shots to the face.
Oh, that was the heel. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the blade job was very well done. I don't know if they intended that much blood, but I don't care. It looked great. And the image that sticks in my mind is Mariah May holding Tony by the top of her hair. And it was like she was holding a decapitated head.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. I couldn't, even though Tony's body was in shot, all I could see was Mariah May holding a head covered in blood.
Yeah.
And I thought that is the most savage shit I've ever seen in women's wrestling. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. And it was definitely the most noteworthy thing that happened on Dynamite that week. And yeah, so that's another match that's set for All In. And I think that's going to be fantastic. And in terms of, obviously, Toni Storm wasn't on the following Dynamite, as she shouldn't have been, because that would have been ridiculous.
Yeah.
So when we get to the next episode of Dynamite, we'll talk about how we think Toni Storm's going to come back. Anything else you want to bring up from that previous Dynamite episode on the 10th of July?
I don't think there was too much. Some bit of advancement, Mercedes and Britt.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I do want to talk about that. Yeah. So this was Mercedes Championship celebration.
The dual.
So
Dual champion.
Yeah, the dual champion celebration, brother. So they advertised this as two separate segments. And I was like, please don't do that. They have to be the same segment. So I liked how they did it. Britt comes out, and this is where Britt tells everyone that she had a mini stroke?
No, that was the week before.
That was the week before, wasn't it? Yeah, okay.
So it's Mercedes opens with a celebration.
That's it, yeah.
Interrupt her, which leads to Mercedes having a bit of a tantrum.
Yeah.
And Britt battering security.
Yeah.
And Mercedes is cowardly heel now, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a fan of that. I think when I think of Sasha Banks, I think of badass heel. I think of kind of like arrogant but not cowardly, just a badass. Yeah, because she like ran away on her heels, didn't she?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're running away from someone who hasn't wrestled in 10 months, 11 months. But yeah, I think that's going to be good. I think my only, we know that it's always good to build stories early, but we still have like, well, at the time of that episode, 6 weeks till All In.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that that's not too long a gap to flesh out this feud. Because there is a sweet spot between no build at all and too much time.
Yeah, definitely.
And you don't want to have to, fill a few weeks with, standard segments that don't mean anything because you'll devalue the feud.
Yeah, filler.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that they use the time wisely. Same with all the feuds. They've got a lot of feuds already kind of, well in the mix going into All In. We've still got 5 weeks. So, yeah, let's hope they use the time wisely.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. And then we had, what else do we have on that Dynamite?
It was the Global Glory 4-way.
Oh God, yeah.
A funny name.
This confused the hell out of me. So Pack won.
Yeah.
The global mega super whatever it was. And then I think Pac says to the camera, "I want my Wembley moment."
Yeah, he won't be denied.
Yeah, and then Shivani goes, "Oh, he's going to challenge for the international title All In." I was like, "What? That doesn't make sense."
Well, there you go.
Especially now that MJF's the champion, is like, I don't want MJF and Pac at All In. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. I don't know whether Shivani was supposed to say that.
Yeah.
Hasn't been clarified by anyone AEW's end.
I'm not sure if there was actually any like reward for winning the 4-way.
No, it wasn't advertised, was it? Usually,
Yeah, I don't think so.
Usually they kind of, preempt that and say, whoever wins this match gets to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, very confusing. I'm glad Pac won because, Pac does deserve his Wembley moment, being a British lad.
Yeah.
I know he's quite far away from London. Despite what Michael Cole tells you, Newcastle is not an hour drive from London. Not everything is an hour drive from London. It's actually, if you're not familiar with English geography, London is in the very southeast of the country, and Newcastle is in the very northeast of the country, almost near Scotland. So it's about what 6-hour drive, perhaps.
Probably, yeah. It'll take you about an hour to get out of London. Probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a very, very long way between Newcastle and London, but great for Pac anyway. He's a fantastic wrestler. His accent will always make me laugh, but that's just him being from Newcastle.
He is a bastard.
He is a bastard.
Yeah. Well, the only other thing on the show was Samoa Joe and Jericho street fight, which was.
Oh, is that where he forklifted him through the wall?
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Jericho is getting more and more unhinged.
Yeah, it was the second week. It was the second week in a row where I didn't want my cat to rip my eyes out at the learning tree.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the third week sort of, last week sort of did that again.
Yeah.
Unhinged Jericho, I think, is always been best Jericho.
Yeah, definitely.
Apart from, I didn't like it when he threw a fireball at Hook because, I didn't like it when WCW did it. I didn't like it when Alexa Bliss did it. And I don't like it when Chris Jericho does it. But I thought the forklift spot was pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, that was mental.
I think, I don't know, because someone said they were writing Samoa Joe off because he's filming more Twisted Metal stuff.
Possible.
So that would make sense.
It's supposed to be more.
Yeah, and he's Sweet Tooth in Twisted Metal as well. That was one of my favorite games as a kid, and I love Sweet Tooth, so it's cool to see that sort of be brought to life by a wrestler that I really like as well. But yeah, the learning tree. More sadistic Jericho, please. Still don't know what Brian Keith's doing. He just looks so odd.
I don't know if he does either.
No, just Scrappy Doo with a cowboy hat, isn't he?
Basically.
Yeah. And that was basically Dynamite, I think. Have we missed anything?
Yeah,
we might have done.
I don't think there's anything else sort of life-changing on there.
Yeah. We're going to skip SmackDown. Let's go to last week's Raw, which I didn't watch because I was on Big Thunder Mountain, whatever it's called.
Space Mountain.
Yeah. Or Hyperspace Mountain, as it's called now.
Okay.
So where do you want to start with last week's Raw?
Well, at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Opened with Mummy, who returned the week before.
Yeah.
With an opening promo saying she'd been out for 3 months because of Liv. Said she'd handled on later and wanted to address the championship. So called out Liv, but Dominic came out instead. And Rhea just ignores him at this point. And then Liv comes on the Tron. They have a bit of back and forth with Rhea still ignoring Dom. And Rhea challenges Liv at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And Rhea walks up the ramp with Dom sort of backpedaling in front of her, much like when Eddie Guerrero did the same to China.
Yeah, it was a nice
Walking
throwback,
up the
wasn't it?
ramp. Yeah, I like that. And that followed with Dom following Rhea into the clubhouse, and there's just black roses everywhere. And Dom saying he's trying to make it up to her. She
Mamacita.
sort of ignores him again.
Oh, it's actually crazy scary how much Dom sort of reminds me of Eddie.
He really does look the spitting
I
image.
know, and it's just
I think
like
Eddie might have been right.
I know he's not Eddie's kid, but god damn. I mean, I don't know whether he's like he's deliberately kind of got the mullet and stuff.
I think probably there's a bit of intention there.
Yeah, but I love it. I love it because Eddie and China was some of the most entertaining shit on TV.
Yeah,
so good. And obviously Rhea Ripley, there is a likeness to Rhea Ripley and China. Obviously both, both stacked, both muscular, both would kick your ass.
Yeah.
I could see Rhea Ripley entering a men's Royal Rumble at some point, like China, like Nia Jax. Yeah. So yeah, I think the similarities are really nice, and it's always good to remember Eddie Guerrero. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Indeed. Yeah, it's good to get back.
Who do you think wins at SummerSlam? Rhea Ripley or Liv Morgan?
Possibly Liv. Probably by shenanigans, maybe Dom involvement.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think Dom makes his decision.
Or, tries to help Rhea, but backfires potentially.
Well, that's what he's been doing in the last couple, isn't it? He tried it with Becky Lynch. He tried it with Zelina Vega. I feel like what WWE are doing here is they're building certain feuds beyond SummerSlam to Bad Blood.
Yeah.
So I think Drew and Punk is going to happen at SummerSlam and at Bad Blood. Maybe Bash in Berlin as well. Do like a trilogy. And I think Liv, you're right. I think Liv will beat Rhea Ripley thanks to Dom. And then they'll end up at Bad Blood. And I think Rhea will probably beat her at Bad Blood.
Yeah, I mean, Liv was always going to be a bit of a placeholder, bless her, but
she's not a champion, is she? Compared to Rhea Ripley, she's not. She's not
compared to Ripley, no. But I mean, I think just taking it off her straight away at SummerSlam is a bit mean. But
yeah,
she will lose it eventually.
Yeah, and especially as Rhea was never meant to lose the title.
Yeah, exactly.
What we would have done with Rhea had she not been injured, don't really know. Like I said, this story sort of came about because of that injury.
Yeah.
So I don't really know where we'd be without it. But yeah, I agree. I think Liv retains, and then we go to Bad Blood. Possibly a stipulation.
Yeah, surely.
Yeah. What do we have next?
Sheamus versus Big Bronson Reed, and my autocorrect has changed it to Big Branston Reed.
Big Branston Reed, the pickle man.
Yeah,
he sells pickle.
This is sort of a bit of a subplot. Sheamus, I think, saved Pete Dunne the previous week.
Yeah, he did.
Bronson attack, which is the reason for this match. Big Meat Planet match, basically.
Yeah.
And Sheamus won, but obviously Branston was a bit butthurt.
Branston?
So,
sorry, for American viewers, Branston is a brand of pickle that we have. And the pickle's not the same thing in America, is it? Pickle is gherkin over here.
Yeah.
I'll get a picture up on the screen in a minute. You'll be able to see it, and yeah, that's why it made me laugh.
Insert pickle here.
Yeah. I'll put something on the screen with a hand-drawn arrow saying this is pickle.
But yeah, Bronson.
Charles Bronson.
Yeah,
this ain't over.
Tries to attack Sheamus, and Pete Dunne makes the save. Sheamus though goes for like a handshake. Pete's still like, no, goes away.
Yeah.
But then out of nowhere attacks Sheamus.
Oh, he actually attacked him this week. Okay.
Yeah, and walks off. Well, Bronson Reed hits a tsunami on Sheamus.
Fair enough. I mean, I think the story they're trying to tell is that Sheamus sort of abandoned the Brawling Brutes.
Yeah.
And Tyler Bate, we found out, is out for the rest of the year now, unfortunately. So
Damn.
yeah, Pete Dunne heel turn on a singles run. Sign me up.
Yeah, just
Shouldn't be in a tag team. Guy's an absolute killer.
yeah, he's brilliant.
Should be feuding for that IC title.
Yeah, get him up
Like,
there.
can you imagine, like, we get to Royal Rumble and it's like, here's Braun Breaker versus Pete Dunne. It's like,
Yes,
hell
please.
yes. That's
I'd
what I
like
want
to
to
see him
see.
against Dragunov as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love it, Maggle.
Injected. And after that, we had a little segment with Rhea and Priest. Him saying he doesn't need help for his match. And then Rhea asks about Carlito, like, what's he doing here?
Who's this guy?
He's been comic relief, basically.
Basically, yeah.
But yeah, Dom sort of butts in again, and Rhea kicks off at him. You know, what about the last 3 months? He didn't contact me. Busy playing around with Liv, blah blah blah, and then walks off again. And then there's like an odd Gunther promo video package thing. I don't know how to describe it.
Vignette.
Kind of. It was like basically him behind a green screen with loads of. It looks like he was on a sports channel in the US. Almost.
Like a ticker at the bottom.
Yeah, with all like he didn't have the ticker, but everything else, like the background around him, was moving similarly. But it was what you'd expect from a Gunther promo.
Yeah.
Bringing back prestige.
The match is
It's
sacred.
great sport. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
I do love Gunther promos. They make me really love pro wrestling.
I mean, he is fun to watch.
He is great. Yeah, he is one of the best.
There's some stuff with Zelina and Shayna and that lot. Makes fun of Sonya's forehead. And then setting up a match between Zelina and Sonya.
I'll tell you what, I'm really glad Sonya's back. I think she's really underrated.
Oh, was it? Oh yeah, Rave Girls and Lyra saved Zelina from a beatdown after Deville won.
Yep.
Pretty inconsequential, sadly.
Yeah, it's nice to have Sonya back. I think she's a good wrestler, got an MMA background. Very good she's a very good talker. And I don't think we have enough of those in the women's division.
No, I think it should be good with those two as well, Zoe and Shayna.
Yeah, because I think Zoe in particular, Zoe's a fantastic wrestler, but she's not yet a good promo. So having Sonya as the mouthpiece and Zoe just kill everyone, that's fine. That works.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Shayna's a good promo, I think. She's all right.
Yeah. They need to book her like the killer she was in NXT.
She needs
it a lot, but
longest reigning combined women's champion of all time in NXT.
Yeah, she was just ridiculous.
Yeah, but we might that boat might have sailed. But as long as she's like, you know, as long as she's not kind of, at least she's on TV. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But then following that, we had Pierce and Chad backstage. Basically, Pierce isn't really bothered, so Chad says he's going to call out Bo and sort it himself, like he's had to for everything else.
I did see this, yeah.
He says that, ooh, that's going to go down well. Then we had a Gunther and Damien face to face. Gunther was pretty savage about Priest's upbringing.
Is this where you made fun of homeless people?
Yeah, being on the streets is a choice. Let's be honest.
Just buy a house, man.
Your parents didn't care about you. Yeah, so that was all fairly. I mean, it was savage, but still tame at the same time, kind of.
Yeah.
Nothing really kicked off. But they were interrupted by Strowman.
Oh, Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he had a match with Priest next.
I see. Okay.
But in between that, we had backstage Jay and Pierce. I think Dom was there as well, but Jay was sort of asking if Mummy was single now. He wants to holler. And I think it was Priest told Dom that he should ask for a match to show Mummy that she still belongs to him. And then while Dom's walking off like, yeah, I'm going to do that, Priest is just grinning to himself.
Brilliant.
Knowing that it's definitely going to backfire.
Yeah.
Braun showed up as well as part of that for some reason. Braun Breaker. But
Okay.
Pierce just sort of kicks him out because he says he's just going to wreck everyone in the main event.
Adam Pearce needs a drink.
Yeah, man, he's had a tough job. What was after that? Sorry, I've lost my place. Braun Priest. There we go.
Braun Priest.
My first bit of notes is Choo Choo Strowman gets yeeted into timekeeper area and holds knee.
Nice. Very descriptive.
Yeah, it was a pretty paint by numbers match, but Priest hitting the South of Heaven on Braun was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I guess you've seen one Braun Strowman match. You've seen them all, haven't you?
Yeah, kinda.
But he is good. I do like Braun Strowman. He's a funny guy. He's a
He
big.
needs to sort of maybe accept his hairline, but
Yeah, let it go, man.
yeah,
Wear a
yeah.
hat.
It was just really to keep Priest strong.
Yeah, beat the biggest guy in the building.
Yep, Gunther comes back out afterwards. Starts chopping Priest forearms back into the corner. Bit of back and forth, but then Gunther retreats. So they're trying to make Priest look very strong before Gunther takes that.
Yeah, and I pray. Imagine if he doesn't. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about SummerSlam in a later episode, but there are so many banana peels on SummerSlam that you think, oh, this result has to go this way. But if they don't, I think the damage could be catastrophic.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like LA Knight versus Logan Paul, for example. Like, you cannot get that wrong. And the same with Gunther Priest. I love Priest, but you can't not have Gunther win this one.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, damages Gunther a bit too much, I think.
Yeah, SummerSlam's the place to do it. It's probably the second biggest show of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
What do we have next?
It was a little segment as the former Alpha Academy sort of talking amongst themselves, saying, "Yeah, we should help them. They're our friends, and that's what friends do." And then Chad comes out of nowhere, thinking it was about him, but it was actually about Xavier Woods.
Okay.
So the former Alpha Academy are tagging with Woods next week versus the Final Testament.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm not really. No, I'm not.
No, but
I lied.
I guess it sort of keeps the Chad train going.
Yeah.
Off. Had a quick match. The Rave Girls versus Shayna and Zoe. The Rave Girls actually look really, really good.
They are fantastic.
Them, I think
they are probably the best women's tag team in all of WWE.
Yeah, they're really fun to watch.
I know TNA would probably have some tag teams that would rival them. But they seem to be the only pure women's tag team that aren't like thrown together. Apart from the Kabuki Warriors, maybe. But yeah, they're great. Love them.
Yeah, so that was a pretty quick, again, inconsequential match.
Yeah, was it 2 minutes?
Something like that, but the finish was pretty good. It was an alley-oop, when you lift them up for a powerbomb and chuck them backwards over your head.
Oh, like Big Show back in the day.
Yeah, but they did that into a knee, which just savage.
Yeah, nice.
And then there was, I've just noted something about the Miz playing golf. Weird little video.
Oh, I want to know more now. Miz playing golf.
And then we had Dom explaining why he's asked for the match with Jay to Rhea, basically saying to Rhea, "You're still my mummy and you belong to me."
For God's sake.
Which went down like a lead balloon.
Yeah, like a fart in church.
Yep.
We need some sound effects or a soundboard or something.
Well, pretty sure Discord has one.
I used to have one, didn't I? Oh, I've still got my Stream Deck upstairs. Yeah, okay. I'll figure it out for probably next week. We'll get some sound effects and stuff. Because
Tourette's guy.
There's a really good fart in church sound effect I want to use, and it could be, used for those segments that don't quite hit the mark, shall we say? But yeah, I'll work on that next week.
You're not a fan of the old? No.
What's that? Sorry.
Did you not hear that?
No, I heard you say I'm not a fan of something.
Oh, don't worry, it didn't work then. Just trying to use the Discord soundboard.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I haven't really looked into it actually.
You
Lots
can
of
add
research.
like a few, I think, like MP3s or WAVs, but it's limited unless you pay for Discord.
Okay, I might use Voice Mod. I think it's free, and they've got like a massive like community soundboard thing on there. But
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
yeah.
Anyway,
Wrestling.
so the next segment was a big one, Pierce and Drew.
Yes.
Yeah, so Pierce calls him out to the ring, and they're talking about Drew and Punk at SummerSlam, which I think we all know is going to happen.
Yeah.
But Pierce basically tells Drew that if he wants the match, and he'll give him the match if he apologizes to these two refs. Sorry, I forget their names. He's very reluctant to, but eventually goes over to the refs, and they're like half his size, which is hilarious. He takes a big deep breath, and then just goes, "No," and then talks about how the refs screwed him around. All of this with Punk has happened under Pierce's watch. Says he deserved that elbow, and he should be apologizing.
I mean, is he wrong? Like,
I mean, maybe not.
I
Technically, it's right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Drew's character of being, he's obviously been treated as a heel, but he's right. I think in a lot of things that he's been mad about, he just can't contain his anger anymore. I love it. I think it's really, really captivating for Drew, especially.
Yeah, so naturally he keeps kicking off. Pierce confirms he is still suspended. So he pushes the refs over, gets even more mad at Pierce. And then Seth comes down to fight Drew off.
Okay.
And McIntyre escapes the stomp, runs away.
Yeah, they're really shoehorning Seth into this, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't need to be in it, but...
No, I think... I imagine there's a part of it which is you can't leave Seth off of SummerSlam, which I get.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think from the news we've heard over the past week, he is probably going to be a special guest ref for that match.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
I think it's fine because Drew and Punk are going to have more than one match, probably culminating in Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. And B, they can use it to plant seeds for the eventual Punk versus Rollins WrestleMania match that was probably supposed to happen this year.
Yeah.
So, by that definition, maybe Drew wins at SummerSlam. Maybe.
Possibly.
I look forward to
see where it's going to go.
It's definitely an unpredictable one because a lot of the best matches don't have like titles on the line.
Yeah.
When there's a title on the line, it can lead to being quite soundboard.
Hey.
Thanks, Kronus. He found the womp.
Oh, it literally just played it.
I think so. Play it again.
I pressed it ages ago. Hang on. If there's a delay, then it could just pop up.
I don't know if it came through.
So I've just clicked it. It's just played the sound of mine.
I don't think it came through on OBS. So if anyone just heard me shout soundboard randomly, it was because Kronus played the womp womp sound through the speaker. So apologies for that.
It'll probably do it again at some point. Sounds like there's a delay.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Where were we?
So after the Drew segment, we had Pat talking about how the Wyatt Six interfered with his show again.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
and delivered another VHS on his show, which they'd already got to the truck. Which is good that they change it up this week. Instead of doing the same thing a third time.
Didn't need Nikki Cross being a postman this time.
No. So we went straight into the tape after that, which revealed Rowan to be being interviewed.
This was fantastic.
Yeah, this was really deep and emotional.
I think Bully Ray on Twitter posted it and said, "What are your thoughts?" And the first thing I thought was, this is probably as natural as it gets in pro wrestling.
Yeah,
I don't think you could get any closer to being real than what we saw here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you don't see who's interviewing him, but goes on about how he used to have a family, that they were unstoppable and inseparable. But one day his whole world changed when he lost a brother, which was
Brody
Brody Lee.
Lee. Yeah.
He believed in him more than anyone else, and just when he thought he had it all together, Bray passed, his other brother. So he had no more family, no more will. Fell down a well that he couldn't and didn't want to get out of. Feeling numb and catatonic. Who's going to miss me? I'm just Rowan. So it's getting pretty deep and dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's asked how it made him feel, and he's handed the sheep mask at the
Yeah.
same time,
Fantastic.
saying he gave me hope at my lowest. He knew I needed help. Purpose to help those like myself. We're going to take our broken hearts and make something beautiful out of it. Well, that was
It's brilliant stuff. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think it's crazy that if Bray Wyatt hadn't passed away, I don't think we'd see Rowan back in WWE.
You never know, really.
Because I know he was doing stuff on the indies, wasn't he, as Eric Redbeard?
Yeah.
But I'm really glad he is back for this, because he's the exact. When we heard rumors of a Wyatt 6 faction, he's the first person you think of, isn't he? As he has to be in it.
Definitely.
You probably could argue Braun Strowman as well, but Eric Rowan definitely more so.
Yeah.
And I think he was the logical next one to see interviewed.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to that Dexter Lumis interview.
Yeah. I want to hear what Gacy has to say as well.
Yeah, Gacy. I think. Do you think Dexter Lumis is going to communicate via pictures and writing?
I really don't know.
Because I don't think he's ever spoken on WWE television, has he?
I mean, are they still going to call him Dexter Lumis?
I think because they referred to Bo as Bo Dallas, they referred to Eric as Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
So I don't see why not.
It seemed weird to give them like completely new like wrestler names rather than their Firefly Funhouse names.
Yeah, I think the fact that they are representative of their characters who were mistreated, I think they need to keep the names.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Dexter Lumis was abandoned, Joe Gacy was abandoned. They can obviously embody Mercy the Buzzard, Huskers the Pig, etc. That's fine. But yeah, I think they'll refer to him as Dexter Lumis and Gacy as the same. And Nikki Cross as well.
Yeah, no, that's a shout. Makes
But yeah, we could get a Dexter Lumis interview tomorrow or a Joe Gacy one. Looking forward to that.
Yes, very eager to see what their motivations are.
Yeah.
Following that, we had the Dom versus Jey Uso match. Which was an alright match. Dom actually looked really, really good, and I've noted the commentary kept saying he was focused. That's just written, yeah, he is, but we get it.
Yeah.
We did say it a lot. Had some Liv shenanigans, pulled Dom out of the ring, saving him from a splash, and then Jay kicks him into Liv. They roll over, but Rhea chases Liv off.
Yeah.
So obviously still cares. Surely.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Rhea tells Dom to get back in the ring, and he just walks into a spear, gets splashed, and Jay wins.
Whee! Congratulations, Jey Uso.
Yeah, big rip Dom on his crusade to get Mummy back.
Yeah. See, I think Liv being the cowardly heel makes sense. I think it kind of suits her character.
Yeah,
because
especially against someone like Rhea.
Yeah, I mean, most men would run away from Rhea if they're chasing her. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, I think I did see bits of this match. Again, it's not going to go down in history, but I guess it forwarded the story, did what it needed to do. Filled some TV time.
And while Rhea was walking back up the ramp, you could see sort of Jay motioning the "call me"
Yeah, I thought this was just going to be like a one-off little joke, but are they really going to get Jay involved in that storyline? I hope not, personally. But
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think I
it's quite
might have
funny.
seen something that Rhea posted on her Twitter, like a cartoon of her and Jay eating or something.
Oh, it was on Instagram. They were at Waffle
Oh
House.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, they were at Waffle House. I love Waffle House is great, so I don't blame them.
fair enough. House of Waffles does sound like the greatest house.
Oh yes.
And then we had Chad entering to the arena, and but cut then to a backstage segment. Dom and Priest.
More Judgment
Uh,
Day.
yeah, where Priest is basically saying, "So you lost in front of Mummy, huh?" Rhea seems to have forgotten. Rhea seems to have forgiven. I've noted because she sort of pops in and says to Dom, "I'm not yours, you're mine."
Ah, yes, I saw that on social media.
Yeah, so I think that's maybe her sort of forgiving in a way.
Yeah,
I mean, she clearly like still wants a part of him, if that's the case.
yeah. I think that's probably why she's so angry, isn't it?
Yeah, nobody's contacted her. Well, Dom hasn't over the last 3 months.
And he said he did. That's the naughty thing.
Yeah,
He's been saying,
Priest
yeah, I
doesn't
spoke to
anything
Mummy. I
right.
spoke to Mummy.
Yeah, it's not looking good, Brev.
No.
But then we got more Chad in the ring saying he solved the mystery.
Well done, Columbo. Good job.
Nice one. And calls out Bo, who does come out to no music, but a really good pop for him. And then, as he's getting to the ring, he's attacked from behind by none other than the Creeds.
Yeah,
Which I am well pumped for. Chad and the Creeds as a
absolutely.
unit. Going to be good. But they beat him down, and Bo's sort of at their feet and laughing after being beaten up. So they keep beating him up. Noted that the Creeds did a fireman carry knee to face slam. I can't remember for the life of me what it looked like. So it
Oh,
must
is
have
it
been
a bit like Gallus' finisher?
I think so.
Where it's like a fireman's carry and then the other guy runs, does like
No,
a...
it's more fireman's carry, but they throw him off into a knee.
Oh, okay.
I think it was. Chad then German's Bo, but Bo's still laughing and does the yeah.
Oh, the Brody thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chad is just getting madder and madder. And then, while Bo's sort of in the corner, sat down, still laughing, he says, "There you are," and then keeps laughing. And then the lights go out. It's going to happen at some point.
Yep.
Then we had the smoke and the piano note. Chad and the Creed still in the ring.
Yeah, why? Just get out of there.
And bright light appears on the stage, and the other Wyatts come out and start slowly walking down the ramp. With Bo still in the corner.
The silhouette of that looked incredible.
Yeah, it was really well shot. Gable then bails on the Creeds, who then swiftly bail shortly after.
He's like, screw this, I'm out of here.
Pretty much. I thought he was going to let the Creeds get beat up for a moment. But no, they ran off as well. Yeah, it'd be a pretty bad business transaction. Then they all just sort of come together in the ring, very Wyatt family-esque.
Yeah, I really like this for a number of reasons. One was that we had Bo actually, even though he was laughing, he was selling the offense.
Yeah.
So we're not doing any of that indestructible nonsense.
Yeah, no sell, please.
He just comes across as a broken maniac, which is fine.
Yeah, exactly. He enjoys the pain rather than doesn't feel it.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, exactly.
Because all he knows is pain.
Yep.
And also the pose at the end. I saw a few photos on Twitter, and there's one where Bo is smiling and Nikki's resting her head on his shoulder. It's just such an awesome image.
Yeah, it was really well shot.
Like a proper, they already feel like a proper family with a purpose, and you can already feel why they are a group. Like you take Final Testament, for example. I've got no idea why they're a group. They've got no kind of identity as to why Karrion Kross is with AOP,
Yeah,
etc. Whereas this, I know you can't do that with every group, but this really feels like everything makes sense.
yeah, definitely.
And there are a lot of people who thought this would fall off after the first week because of how shocking the first week was when they debuted. But I think it's been home run after home run so far.
I was only skeptical up until that debut, which was so good. I thought, surely they're not just going to peter out from there.
No, and we had no idea what to expect, did we? We thought some people thought it was going to be like a Nexus thing.
Yeah,
which would have been cool. That would have been great. But I guess what we did get was just like something we'd never seen before.
Yeah, exactly. It was totally different.
Yeah.
Again, really well shot.
Yeah, and it was all one shot as well, and there was no room for error. Like, because there's that bit where I don't know if Bo almost trips over, but he's like, walking through all the bodies. But if he trips over during that, it's over.
Yeah.
It's Shockmaster all over again, isn't it?
Yeah,
You can't just go and be Tugboat after that, or Typhoon, whichever one he was.
No.
But yeah, I wonder if they're going to do a match at SummerSlam. I would like, for example, maybe not Bo, but if they did like Gacy, Loomis, and Rowan against Chad and the Creeds, for example.
Yeah.
6-man tag, have the Wyatts go over. They need the win more than anyone in the whole company right now.
Yeah, Wyatt's losing is not good for business.
Yeah, Wyatt's losing, and I don't want to say 2019 WWE, but that's how angry I would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic stuff again. Looking forward to the other interviews.
Yeah, definitely. See what tomorrow brings. And then finally, we had banger of a main event. Sami versus Ilya Dragunov for the IC title.
I was gutted I missed this.
Yeah, it was really good. Started off pretty even, back and forth. Had Sami pull out, the Arabian Press moonsault to the outside.
Yeah.
Pretty early on. Other notes have got corner exploder onto Ilya head.
Classic.
Looked pretty savage, but Ilya was fine. Running H-bomb, but Sami got a boot directly up into his chin.
Ooh.
Really good. It's the best counter I've seen to that so far. And then shortly into the match, Ilya's on the sort of apron, stood up against the ropes, and gets Helluva kicked to the outside, which is when Bron Breakker shows up.
Bronathan Breakker.
He's back. And does his classic sprint round the ring and spears Ilya for the DQ. Sami fights back, but gets a massive backdrop, followed by another big spear. And that's how it closed.
Nice. I think the only thing I would have changed here is I would probably had the Wyatt segment close the show rather than the Ilya Sami match.
Yeah, it did feel like an odd change in pace.
Yeah, but it's fine. I know there's a lot of speculation after this match, the Sami versus Ilya one, that the match at SummerSlam would be a triple threat match. But old Mr. David Meltzer, Squire the Third, is reporting that it's just going to be Sami versus Bron again.
Oh, okay.
In which case, if that is the case, then you got to have Bron go over this time, surely.
Yeah.
And then maybe do Bron versus Ilya in Berlin.
Well, wasn't there a thing about Triple H saying he wanted to wait for the Bron win for a bigger stage?
Sure, yeah, potentially. Yeah, and SummerSlam's the perfect stage, isn't it? Even though it's in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, but yeah. So that is a bigger stage.
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
Yep. And then maybe we do Braun versus Ilya Bash in Berlin, which would be great.
Yeah.
Ilya Dragunov is Russian, but I think he spent a lot of his childhood in Germany.
Yeah, he wrestled a lot in German indies.
So he'll be basically a hometown hero. He will lose, but it'll still be A cool moment and a great match, and I think it's a match that
Yeah,
we want to see on pay-per-view, isn't it?
yeah, definitely.
Give them
It'll be
15
another
minutes. 15
good
minutes,
match for
no
Midnight.
commercial breaks.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be a hard-hitting affair.
Yep. And we're up to date on Raw now, aren't we?
Yeah.
So now we look at Dynamite last week.
Yeah.
It should be a quick one. So Will Ospreay versus MJF open the show, and they had an epic 59 minutes and 58 seconds match for the international title. It's probably going to take us too long to go over this move for move, but
Yeah, definitely.
it felt like a few matches rolled into one. It was great. I think. I mean, I probably wouldn't have any match go an hour long unless it was an Iron Man match.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it did kind of feel like a 0-0 Iron Man match.
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of the time, but it kept it going. Like, there was no point where I lost interest in it.
No, I was impressed by how they seemed to get better, and they just kept finding rhythm in the match.
Yeah,
I think from an athleticism point of view, I thought it was incredibly impressive
yeah,
because the pace is all good wrestling an hour like Brett and Sean, but when you're working at Osprey's pace and Osprey's intensity, doing that for an hour,
yeah, that's
fair play to both guys. So after a very long match, MJF with the diamond ring wins it with 2 seconds to go.
yeah, what a finish.
Yeah, I was not expecting MJF to win.
No.
I'm glad he did, because again, it shakes things up. It's unpredictable. It's something different. Will Ospreay's now lost two matches in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, after being undefeated since he joined.
And after leaving the Don Callis family.
Yeah, exactly. So they could feed into that. Again, he hesitated with the Tiger Driver, didn't he?
Yeah, said he couldn't do it.
I imagine he'll do it all in and get the title back. That's what I imagine will
Yeah.
happen.
Huge Tiger Driver pop.
Yeah, in London. Might get some Daniel Garcia shenanigans in that match as well, because I think they can
potentially
probably do MJF versus Daniel Garcia all out. It was a great match, and I saw a lot of people saying it shouldn't have gone an hour. And I think I mentioned this to you privately. Obviously, it was Dynamite 250. TV rights negotiations are hyping up. And, you know, Tony did the smart thing. And he knew this match was going to have a lot of eyes on it because it's arguably the two best stars in the entire company. And that's no disrespect to Swerve Strickland. So making it an hour long means you cover 5 quarter hours of, you know, keeping people interested.
Yeah.
And it worked because they did a 795 in the rating, which is
I heard it was good.
way higher. But I mean, you can't do that every week, obviously. But I do think that's why he did it, and that's why I opened the show, and that's why it was an hour long.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just smart business at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Tony needs that money. We all need Tony to get that money because we all want AEW to have. I don't give a shit how much money they get as long as they get a TV deal.
Yeah, business side doesn't really matter to me as long as they're on TV and I can watch it.
That's the thing. Like, business side doesn't matter. Business side shouldn't matter to wrestling fans unless it affects their ability to watch that wrestling. And that's why ratings are sometimes important, because Warner Brothers are in the shit as a company. And, you know, what we don't want is AEW to get really low ratings all the time. Warner Brothers just to say, well, you're not getting big ratings, we're going to undercut you. And then you get to a stalemate. And it just gets messy. We just want AEW to get paid, have a TV deal for the next 5 years, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, totally.
That's my take on ratings discourse. So for everyone who says ratings don't matter, they do matter, but that's why. Obviously, once they get the TV deal, then we can forget about ratings for a long time.
Yeah.
Especially if they go like the WWE route and go to a streaming deal on their next deal. Because, you know, who's gonna judge? How many people watch Raw on Netflix? No one cares. You know?
I think I saw some things on Twitter about them, about episodes being uploaded to, is it HBO Max, whatever it is.
Oh, this, yeah. So what's happened is, it started about a month and a half ago. So in the UK, A.I.W streaming partner is Triller TV, or used to be Fight TV. And about a month and a half ago, A.I.W's backlog of pay-per-views started getting added to Triller, I noticed.
Yeah.
In France, the provider is HBO Max.
Okay.
And the same thing happened at the same time in France.
Right.
So it's not something that happened last week. It happened a month and a half ago. It's just that for some reason last week it started to get into the news cycle.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it's just it's a coincidence that it's HBO Max. That's just who France uses to broadcast AEW shows.
I see.
So I don't think it's an indication of anything being imminent, because there would have to be an announcement before that happened.
Yeah. No, I'd get that.
But I don't know this. If this, I mean, I remember last summer, 2023, when CM Punk was doing his One Bill Phil promos.
Yeah.
And we thought then that we were going to get an announcement on a TV deal, and it just never happened. And I think the deal runs until this December. But it's just like, I just want it over. Like, just want it to happen and just, just get it done so people can shut up about it.
Wait with bated breath.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. I cannot see them not having a TV deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, Ospreay, MJF, really good match. Probably a bit too long for my liking, but it happened. What can I do about it? I enjoyed what I saw.
Yeah, I really liked it. It's my sort of match.
And then we went into
Hi guys.
The Learning Tree.
TV time.
TV time. Who needs more TV time? You know I do.
Certainly don't.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, it was a bit of nonsense as usual. But they're interrupted by Minoru Suzuki after that video package.
At this point, I'm just like, what am I watching here?
Bit bonkers.
It's the Forbidden Door.
But Suzuki sort of just headbutted him and mocked his little wave. I did like how Big Bill and what's his face? Brian.
Scrappy
Keith,
Doo.
Yeah, didn't like attack Suzuki. So clearly Suzuki's a bad man.
He's a murder grandpa, isn't he?
He really is.
Oh boy. So we've got Jericho versus Suzuki, I think, next week.
Yeah.
Good lord. Okay.
I think Jericho will win. Because
yeah.
You're not going to give the TNT title to anyone other than Hook, really, are you?
Well, I hope not.
Seems a bit silly.
Jericho and Suzuki, do they have a combined age of 100? I think they might do.
I think they probably do.
I mean, one's called the Murder Grandpa. One probably is a grandpa. I'll look it up anyway. But yeah, I mean, in terms of anything in ring with the Learning Tree, don't really care. And I think Jericho also said he's going to be on the next 250 episodes of Dynamite.
Classic Jericho.
That's a shoot, by the way, guys. For anyone wondering, that is a shoot. That is not Jericho playing to the criticism. That is legitimately what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's contractual obligation.
Yeah, and every pay-per-view as well. So All In, the Stadium Stampede match. I reckon it's going to be the Learning Tree versus Joe, Hook, etc.
You reckon? Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, well, I think the reason I think that is because obviously the Elite did Anarchy in the Arena, and the Elite are doing Blood and Guts next week.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't need to do another one.
Yeah, you don't need the Elite in another one of those sort of marquee matches.
No, and Tony's going to do a Stadium Stampede match because it's Wembley. Yeah. So yeah, I think the Learning Tree with probably one other person against Suzuki, Joe, Hook, and Shibata.
Yeah. Suzuki the Stadium Stampede should be delightful.
Yeah, it should be hilarious, and we'll get to watch it at a decent time as well. So
yes,
go to bed at 1 a.m. instead of 7 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
That was it for that segment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Pretty cut and dry. And then we had Mercedes Moan defending TBS Championship.
Yeah.
Against Nyla Rose.
Yeah, a bit out of left field, this one.
I said to you when I was watching it, it's like Rikishi versus Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. In terms of the proportion, yeah. I mean, Nyla's a good
Yeah.
worker.
Yeah, she is.
I don't think she's
I
featured.
don't know what she's been doing much recently.
No, I think she's probably been on Rampage or ROH.
Possibly, yeah.
Nobody watches that.
Rampage. Sauce guys.
Yeah, Sols.
Yeah, but again, cut and dry. All right match. I think she won by submission. I wasn't too into it.
No, I think it was probably more just to kind of build some more Britt Baker stuff because she was in the crowd with the Sting mask, wasn't she?
Yeah. And again, Moan just legs it.
Yeah, the whole like damsel in distress run.
Yeah.
With her 2 title belts.
Yeah. There was some backstage segments. So the Acclaimed were shown asking Mark Briscoe and Swerve if they could join Team AEW, which they did.
Oh boy.
Okada got sweaty watching Mercedes dance backstage. There's a segment with him in the Elite.
I think I put on I replied to something on Twitter saying Okada and Akira Tozawa are the same person, and this it kind of just reminded me because like I don't know what it is with Okada. I think obviously in New Japan he was touted as one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah,
and I didn't see much of him, but what I did see of him, he was really impressive. And I don't know how old he is, but he's probably approaching like near the end of his career.
so it's fair.
But and you got to take into account the toll is taken on his body as well, like working that style in Japan. But I don't know. Like I wonder if when he came to AEW, obviously he was paid a shed load of money. He seems to have a very light schedule in terms of kind of being in the ring, and I don't think I've seen much of him in AEW. And what I have seen, I haven't quite been blown away yet.
He's not had anything as epic. I mean, it's going to be hard to get anywhere near as epic as his matches with Omega, for instance.
No, and I think we're probably heading towards Okada versus Omega when Omega comes back, and maybe that's why. You know, I mean, I do like funny Okada, and
it is. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's funny, and for people saying, "Oh, if he did this in WWE, people would be shitting on it," it's like probably, but I still
do that in WWE.
No, I still find it funny. It's like Akira Tozawa in WWE. Obviously, he's nowhere near the level of Okada, no. But I do find his shtick quite funny sometimes. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting because I don't want to say I haven't been impressed by Okada, but I think my expectations when he came into AEW from an in-ring perspective probably haven't been met just quite yet.
Yeah, that's fair if you're not 100% familiar with him.
No, you'd
expect that coming in.
Yeah, he's had okay matches. I mean, he came in, he won he won a title very quickly, like all the big signings did. I can't tell you when he last defended that title.
No, I can't remember.
Again, maybe we're waiting for Kenny to come back. Maybe it'll be him versus Kenny for the Continental title.
I think we still don't 100% know that Kenny is.
I really hope he is, man.
Oh yeah, completely. But yeah, remains to be seen.
Yep. And then was it main event next?
We had we had the Mariah May segment just before it.
Oh yes, of course, yes. Yeah, she came out dressed as Toni Storm, which looked incredibly convincing.
Yeah, spitting image almost.
Yeah, and I know they're quite similar looking in real life, which helps. But yeah, I thought they did a good job with making her look like Toni Storm.
Yeah.
I thought the promo was a bit hit and miss for me. I thought the delivery wasn't as good as it could be, but I think that's something that Mariah May is probably going to, work on as she gets more experienced.
Yeah, totally.
I think the crowd were dead because they just seen like an hour match of the year candidate. They're probably ready to go home.
Yeah, quite exhausted.
And that's why it felt like a weird show to me, because after that hour-long match, it felt like nothing else mattered from a crowd perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to follow, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But I think what came after that match did what it needed to do. And I think this promo did what it needed to do. My only criticism was the actual delivery.
Yeah.
So I think we get old Tony Storm back.
Yeah,
I think
really cool.
I think the timeless gimmick is probably finished now because Mariah May's killed it, literally.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
I think that was a really good touch.
Yeah.
The old theme tune and everything.
Yeah, and I think how long has she been doing the timeless gimmick now? 6 months? Maybe more?
Yeah, it's at least 6.
I think she's done a great job with it. I think everything has a shelf life. And I think we'll probably get Mariah May dressed as timeless Tony Storm in the ring, maybe not Blood and Guts the week after. And we'll hear that chainsaw sound.
Yeah.
And I think the pop will be massive. Give it 2 or 3 weeks to really sell the beating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then get old Tony Storm back. Because then they'll have what they wanted in the first place, because they wanted that old Tony Storm gimmick to work. It just wasn't landing. Whereas now you've built her up as, probably one of the most popular gimmicks in the whole promotion. They're going to love her whatever she comes back as.
Yeah, exactly. It might not be, straight back to the old. It might be something new in there as well, but
yeah,
it shouldn't be still timeless.
I think the most important thing is what happens to Luther.
He'll probably go on to be someone else's stooge.
He'll be Mercedes Monet's butler. He'll be Mercedes Monet, the Renegade Twins, and Luther. Oh boy. That would be funny, actually.
Book it, Tone.
Book it, Tone. Tony, if you're listening, I know a lot of other big wigs in the wrestling community are listening, but give Luther to Mercedes Monet, please. Just as long as he's on telly, I don't care.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to give a quick shout out to my favorite wrestler of all time, Dalton Castle, who has been injured and is out for the rest of the year. So, Dalton, if you're listening, get well soon.
Yeah, speedy recovery to you.
And then it was main event time?
Yep, Okada v Swerve.
This was basically just a build to Blood and Guts, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was a little vehicle. Nice and physical.
Yeah.
But obviously not a clean finish. The Young Bucks attacking Swerve, which ticked off the old Blood and Guts brawl.
Yeah, and that takes us nicely into Blood and Guts next week. And for those of you not a fan of 1 hour matches, have I got a surprise for you next week?
Yeah, I think Blood and Guts will be long, but there's more than just one focus.
Yeah, Blood and Guts is just utter chaos, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I'll say, I can say it till the cows come home that I'm really not fussed about Blood and Guts this year because of, who's in it. But when it gets to the actual match, I will find it entertaining because A.I.W always goes to such massive extremes to, make sure you're entertained, irrespective of. That's why their pay-per-view, even if a pay-per-view has a crap build, which has been the case a lot of times, the pay-per-view always delivers. So as much as I'm not excited now for Blood and Guts, when I watch it, it'll be great. And hopefully Max Caster will get beat up a lot.
Yeah, I'm excited for Blood and Guts every year, no matter who's in the match.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like a staple, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I will say is I hope this is the end. I don't know what the payoff is with this Elite kind of like storyline thing.
Right.
I don't know how it ends, when it ends. Maybe it ends
up with a triumphant Tony Khan return.
Yeah, Tony Khan comes out and pile drives the Young Bucks.
Both of them at once.
Yeah. And that was last week's Dynamite.
It was.
We did our SmackDown recap, wasn't it? Bloodline stands tall. It's basically
More or
it.
less, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so that's a quick recap. I say quick, just over an hour.
Nice.
We've given AI Jeff the episode off because he's quite ill as well. He's nursing some virus.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. He'll be back soon. We've got another episode coming out soon, which is our first ranking video. We're doing our top 10 finishers. So myself, Kronus, and AI Jeff will be going through what our top 10 wrestling finishers of all time are. And we're basically, there's no rules about how you rank them. You can rank them based on how they look, how iconic they are, whatever you want to do. So that's what we've done. And we've hopefully get a nice eclectic mix of finishing moves that will be coming very soon.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested to see what Jeff picks.
Yeah. Well, you never know. You could get the unpredictable to the totally predictable. That's the nature of Jeff. And I am under the impression that Jeff has also written a song about finishing moves as well. So we'll brace ourselves for that. I'm always terrified what he's going to come out with, but I think he's done a good job so far in his singing career.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going well.
But yeah, we're going to leave it there for this particular episode. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment with what your favorite moment of the last few weeks were. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Bye.